What's up, senor?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
So, your favorite rad realtor here with your favorite smart lender, the smartest lender I know.
Oh, by far, dude.
Your last name wouldn't be smart if you weren't.
Dude. The Lord knew when when I was born. He was like, he's a smart for sure. So we're gonna be talking a little bit about last year, right?
Yeah, Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's to you.
January 7th.
Yep.
You know, and so today we're diving into market stats, we're going to do a market review for 2024, and we're going to do maybe some predictions. We don't have a crystal ball, but I know this is purified water. Maybe we can look into the purified water bottle and see what we can figure out for the year coming. But
absolutely.
We'll talk about some predictions that maybe some people smarter than us have, and go from there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, so that's what we're up to today.
Good, man.
You ready to dive into it?
Dude, I'm ready to learn something about the Yavapai County market out here.
All right. So yesterday I dove into the Yavapai market. So dove into the local MLS. If you don't know what that is, that's the multiple listing service that's run by the Realtor organization here, Prescott Area Association of Realtors. And these are the stats that we pulled. So total number of homes sold in Yavapai County that went through the MLS. You want to take a guess at what that was in 2024?
1,250.
Just over 3,500 homes.
Wow.
3,523. So on average, that was 9 houses a day sold.
Wow.
So 9 families or people a day got keys to their new home in Yavapai County last year.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
People are buying houses, even in a down market, right? You know?
Everyone needs somewhere to live.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's a few things you can count on.
Yep. So let's break that down a little bit. Prescott was accounted for 1,418 of those homes sold. And when we're talking about homes sold, we're looking at everything from buying a park model that is on a lot that you rent, all the way up to multi-million-dollar mansions.
Absolutely.
And everything in between. So, but it has to be residential. It has to be somewhere that somebody's buying to live in. We're not taking commercial into consideration.
Okay.
So,
that's a lot.
So 1,418 here in Prescott. The median price was $615,000. So, kind of where we would expect it to be in the 600s. You want to take a guess what the high was?
$8.4 million.
No, 4.7.
4.7 million. Okay.
So not as high as you'd think.
No.
So there were some people dreaming and wanting to get that much for their houses, but highest one that closed this year in Prescott was 4.7 million. Shifting gears over to Prescott Valley, our favorite neighbors across the hill, 1,019 homes. So just over 1,000 homes sold over there.
Okay. About 400 less. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in median price at 469. So definitely more affordable over there in Prescott Valley. Our PV, Phoenix people, you say PV, they think Paradise Valley, but
it took me a
this
while
is
to
our
get used
PV.
to that. It took me a little while to get used to that.
Oh, yeah, you're a Phoenix boy.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Phoenix, but been here for a very long time, so I no longer associate it with Paradise Valley.
No?
Yeah, no, not at all. PV Mall, man.
Yeah. You want to take a stab at what the highest price home sale was over there last year?
1.7 million.
You are on the nose.
Are you serious?
1.7 million, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's all. I was going to say 1.8, but then I was like, I was way off on the other one.
Well, most people, I feel like when I talk to people about Prescott Valley, most people don't know that there's a number of houses that are in the $1 million range. Specifically more out north, and they've got, an acre or two with them. A little bit of a view, but
like Legend Hills area.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Mm-hmm. Legend Hills, you've got Prescott Ridge out there. Yeah. There's some pretty pricey houses in Prescott Ridge.
Those are all like at least 10-acre parcels.
Minimum, yep, 10-acre parcel minimum. So, Chino Valley, our friends and neighbors to the north, 317 homes sold last year. Median sales price of $424, so not too much less than Prescott Valley.
Yeah.
And, this will be a fun one. You want to take a stab at what the highest price home sale was in Chino Valley last year?
1.2 million. 1.8 million. 2.5 million.
4.4 million.
Wow. I want to see that house, man. That's a nice house.
Dude, I did a little bit more digging on it. It was on 317 acres.
Okay.
And it was a 5,400 square foot house.
Okay. That's a lot of land.
5,400 let me repackage that. 5,400 square feet total, and I believe there were multiple homes on the property. But there's like a guest house and like a ranch house, but then there's the main house too. So
Okay.
I think it was between 3. I could be wrong on
amazing.
that, but
That's
yeah,
amazing.
4 point. They beat Prescott Valley, more than doubled Prescott Valley's high.
And almost as high as Prescott's.
Yeah,
That's
4.4. A lot of people don't know, but there's some pretty nice ritzy houses in the hills that are hidden in Chino.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I got married there, so it's a very,
There you
very
go.
beautiful place and near and dear to my heart for sure.
Dewey Humboldt, 262 homes
Okay.
sold last year. Median sales price at $375, so the most affordable out of all of them in the area, out of our Quad Cities area here, and high there, 1.3 million. So still in the mills.
My
And Dewey
my
Humboldt.
first home was in Dewey Humboldt.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
2.4 million.
Oh, absolutely not.
On the hill?
Absolutely not. I needed more bedrooms and more space, man.
Yeah.
And at a lower price. So Dewey was perfect.
Yeah. So some trivia for you. How
sir.
many homes do you think sold last year for over $4 million?
Well, the top was 4.8, and then there was one in Chino that was 4.2. How about 9?
4.
Okay. All right.
Surprising, huh?
Yeah, that is
I thought it
very
would be
surprising.
more too myself
Yeah.
when I first looked it up. What do you think the highest price one went for last year? And we're talking Yavapai County.
Yavapai County. Okay.
That went through the MLS. So there might have been some off-market deals that happened
Probably
that
in
didn't get recorded.
Sedona?
But no,
No.
So let's keep
wasn't in
it.
Sedona.
Sorry, let's
Okay.
keep it our side of
Okay.
the hill.
Our side of the hill.
Our side of Mingus. So not including Verde Valley.
You said that was what 4.8, right?
There was 4.7 million.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And it wasn't the one. It wasn't the one in Chino because that was 4.4.
Okay. So yeah, 4.7.
So 4.7 here in
Okay.
Prescott.
That's amazing.
What neighborhood would sell for 4.7 million? Cash deal, mind you.
Either Hacienda? It's Hacienda. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna say Talking Rock almost, but yeah.
No, there's some
Hacienda.
pricey ones at Talking Rock too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hacienda, 4.7 million cash deal, 8,639 square feet on just under an acre of land.
Okay.
It's a big house for a 1 acre parcel.
Well, not much yard, but a big house.
Yeah, 7-car
awesome.
garage.
Okay. Well, I'd have to get a lot more cars, man.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
crazy.
amazing. That is just amazing.
Yeah. So overall, talking about inventory in Prescott, we did see an increase, 23% year over year. So we have 23% more houses on the market as of the end of December of 24 than we did at the beginning of 24.
Okay. So went up 23% in Prescott.
Yeah. So
Okay.
obviously, if buyers are buying, then they have more to choose from now.
Absolutely.
And Prescott Valley was at negative 4%. So the amount of inventory houses on the market is actually less now than it was a year ago in Prescott Valley.
Well,
That hurts the brain, huh?
yeah, it does actually. It does. Well, and it's interesting because what you were just talking about with the median price point, right? And in Prescott Valley, I think you shared it was $469. Was that what you said? Right around there.
469
Okay.
median.
And Prescott's in 600s.
Mm-hmm.
And Prescott, you saw 20% more homes, and then Prescott Valley, negative 4%. So there's less inventory in Prescott Valley than there is in Prescott. As far as if you were looking in Prescott a year ago or Prescott Valley a year ago, you had more to choose from than you do today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the exact opposite in Prescott.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
It's interesting, huh? Property values. So looking at property values for both Prescott and PV. Prescott actually went down 0.4% year over year. When we're just looking at the median sale price of last year versus, or of the beginning of 24 versus, where are we at? Yeah, so Prescott is down 0.4% in home values, talking about median price of the homes that sold in December of 23 versus December of 24.
Okay.
So slightly down in values. Prescott Valley's value was up 1% year over year when looking at median
Okay.
sales price.
So throw out the high, throw out the low, use the middle. So that's
Yeah.
including everything. Okay.
Yeah. So we can't necessarily tie this to your house, Travis, went down 0.4% in
Absolutely.
value year over year. It's just
No.
where the buyers have shifted because the median price house could have of a year ago could have all the same features your house has, but now the median priced house has one less bedroom and a one car garage instead of a two car garage
Yeah.
or whatever.
No,
you know?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's not necessarily a true fact of your property value went up or down. It's just the trends of where people are buying at.
Yeah, and where
So-
most of the buyers are, and I think it actually kind of makes sense when you talk about Prescott Valley going up 1% because the inventory went down, right? And so it makes sense that it would go in that direction, and it's interesting as well because I think about 2023. I think about a lot of the conversations that we were having with clients, and I can speak for myself. A lot of folks were saying, "I want to wait and see what happens. I think that." I want to get a huge, amazing deal on a house, right? I want to wait till the bottom falls out. And here we are over a year later, and home prices up here have absolutely maintained their value.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bottom has yet to fall out.
And
And we'll get into that in the
Yep.
next
Yep.
segment. Okay, so now let's get into what you know for 2024 review for the mortgage topics. What you're
Absolutely.
seeing on your side.
Well, as we know, there's a lot of different things that are going on in the mortgage world, and everything going on with interest rates. It's a big topic of conversation. Obviously, what everybody's hoping for is to see rates lower, and we
That'd
have.
be nice.
It would be amazing, but here's the thing: is we are seeing rates go lower because when you look at 2023, the high for interest rates on a 30-year fixed rate for a primary residence was between 7.75 and 8%. In October of 2023, that's how high they got up to. At the highest point in 2024, they were between 7 and 7.25. So 0.75% lower in 2024 than they were in 2023, which is amazing. Obviously, is it 4%? No. But are we trending? Are we going in a good direction? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing as well, and something that I would love to speak to a little bit is, there was different blips during 2024 where we saw interest rates go down drastically, right?
Yeah.
There was points in time where we were seeing VA and FHA rates in the 5s. We were seeing
A year ago.
conventional rates in the very low 6s. And this is without buying down the rate at all. And here's one of the things that I have found is a lot of folks want to time everything right? They want to time it perfect. They want the lowest rate with the lowest purchase price so they can gain everything humanly possible. Well, here's the thing is we were seeing these blips of time, right? Like maybe it was a week where we would see interest rates stay low, then they would go back up. Buyers weren't able to take advantage of that. The people who had already bought their home were the ones who were able to just, hey, here's the blip. I'm going to be able to lower my rate by, say it's 1%. Someone gets in at 7.1, interest rates down to 6. Boom, refinance, move on.
Yeah.
Versus, I think what people saw was sales in the month of November were up substantially. Well, why is that? Well, rates actually hit their lowest point in 2024 between August and September. So all over the news, you see rates are going down, all these great things. People start coming off the fence. And more closings in October and November. And were all those folks able to take advantage of the low rates if they were able to get into contract and get a rate locked within a week of all the news articles? Because the news is also always late with what they're talking about, which is always amazing. Another few, there's going to be some changes coming on for 2025. So when we want to talk about different things to expect, we can go into that. But there's been some huge changes going on in your side of the industry with real estate agents, with realtors.
Yeah.
What kind of changes did you see?
Yeah, so the main thing was the National Association of Realtors finally settled the lawsuit with the Department of Justice and came to an agreement. The Department of Justice finally approved it at the end of the year, but it was August. We had to implement some changes, and the main change that it got implemented on the real estate side of it was that buyers now had to hire an agent prior to going and opening a door to see the house, versus before agents could just open houses for buyers, not have to have any type of a written agreement with them. Just, hey, Travis, I'll open this door for you. If you like the house, hopefully you use me as your agent, right? And a lot of times buyers wouldn't. They would go straight to the listing agent, or they'd pull in a different agent. So there was a little animosity in that. So now, as of August 17th, all buyers that are going to be previewing homes have to have some form of written agreement nationwide with their agent, if it's not the listing agent.
And that is an absolute requirement before you can open up a door.
That's a requirement, or I can be fined as a realtor. If I got audited and I opened a door for you and I didn't have you sign an agreement saying that if you like this house, you're going to use me as your agent, I could be fined. I think it's $200 or $300 per instance. So if I go show you 10 houses, I could be fined 10 times.
Yeah, $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
And so it is just something you are now required to do. It is not anything. Yeah.
And that was because of the lawsuits against the National Association of Realtors. It wasn't a decision that the National Association of Realtors wanted to employ or enforce. If anything, it's another thing for buyers to have to do that could essentially prevent them or hinder them from home ownership, because it's another thing they have to sign. It's another thing that they have to agree to. And what that agreement says, like I said, is if we're going to go look at homes, I have to have you sign a form saying that you understand that my name is Brent Wofford and I work with Keller Williams Arizona Realty, and I do not work for the seller. I do not work for the listing agent, but I'm going to work for you as your agent. And if you decide to buy this house, you're going to use me and my brokerage, and the terms of our commission is going to be XYZ. And how I get paid is going to be determined on how we negotiate the deal that you want to put in on this house. And you have to sign as a buyer acknowledging that up front versus not knowing how I'm going to get paid like it used to be.
Well, and since these changes have taken place, what percentage of your buyers paid your commission versus the sellers or the owners of the home paying the buyer's agent commission, in your experience at least?
Out of all the deals I've closed, actually all the deals I closed last year, but I was going to specifically say everything I've closed since this went into place in August, I've had sellers paying my commission on every single one of those deals. And we've negotiated that into the contract at the time of offer.
So that was just another couple changes that were made for you as well, is now there are additional addendums that you even have to submit in with your offers.
Yep.
So it changed a lot of different things. It wasn't just for buyers. It was, okay, now when I'm negotiating, I'm also including, hey, maybe it's a seller compensation addendum, different things along those lines. But it also changes things for when you're listing a home, right? There's different conversations before where things were already pre-negotiated up front, where, hey, seller's going to pay XYZ% to the listing agent's brokerage to be used as they saw fit, was essentially what that looked like before.
Yeah.
Well, and something that I personally, like when I first started hearing rumors of this, I remember just thinking there's no way that this is going to go through. And the main reason being is because buyer's agents are so important. It's so important for a buyer to have an agent in their corner, like genuinely, because I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not a real estate agent, but me as a person, okay? Let's just say I have this deal worked out with the seller. We have a great rapport. I know exactly what all their goals are. And so I already know what we're trying to get accomplished. Well, then I have, say, it's a buyer call me directly and say, hey, they want to submit an offer. It's going to be hard for me to be impartial as a person, and to not genuinely be able to look out for their 100% best interest. And one of the things that I genuinely struggled to believe that this would ever come to fruition for is because no one goes out and is consistently just buying houses where they know exactly what they're looking at, what they're looking into, what resources to utilize, whether it's home inspectors, lenders, insurance, all the different vendors that you have great relationships with who does a great job that me as a person who's just going to go buy a house, I wouldn't even have an idea.
Yeah.
And let alone when I get say I get a home inspection report, their job as home inspectors is point out everything, right? Absolutely everything. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what's important. I don't know if what a wall being out of plumb maybe means, or and how am I going to go through and negotiate that on my own behalf? I would rather absolutely have someone in my corner who is going to look out for my best interest, who does this every day, who's a professional, much like yourself, which, you're top notch. I'm not blowing smoke. It's just, genuine, your stuff. And I've always appreciated even having open mastermind conversations with you about what's going on in the market, because you're always on top of it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to hiring a buyer's agent, I think that that's one of the best things now for buyers is they really are hiring a buyer's agent. They're not just going into a home and being like, all right, unlock the door. Okay, well, you did that, so I'm going to work with you.
Yeah.
Now you get to really show the expertise that you have and the knowledge and the professionalism that you have. And I think that is how things kind of should be for people. They should work with who is going to do the best for them. But obviously when you have something that you have to sign, it can be intimidating. I get that.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's important for people to also have an understanding, hey, there are ways to, we do have the ability to negotiate my compensation. We do have that ability. It's just I have to have this form signed saying I have to do this. I have to have this to have the ability to open this door and to show you this house and to represent you.
Yeah, and it's the National Association of Realtors' way of appeasing the Department of Justice in the respect that they wanted buyers to know how their agent got paid and who was paying their agent.
Right.
That's what it came down to, was that lawsuit was basically saying sellers were not informed correctly by their agents that they were going to have to pay buyer's agent commission. Because the way it was prior to this, and Arizona changed actually a couple of years ago, but this lawsuit was I believe it was in Michigan. And the lawsuit... Missouri, there you go, Missouri. And the lawsuit was, hey, my agent was charging me X percent, or as a seller, my agent's charging me X percent of the price of the home, and then my agent gave half of that or a percentage of that to a buyer's agent without telling me. That was the whole rub and why it got approved in court.
Yeah.
Because if it was like the Arizona listing agreement, which was prior to how it is now, well, you can still... They've modified it some, so a seller can still commit to X percentage to a buyer's agent in a listing agreement, but that no longer matters because the buyers are coming in with a compensation addendum in the offer that is most likely going to be different than whatever the seller put on the listing agreement.
Right.
So I can list your house and say you're going to pay a buyer's. You're agreeing now with me to pay a buyer's agent X percent, but then Susie Sue comes in with her buyer, submits an offer to us, and wants Y percent, which is different than your X. Depending on how I handle it as the listing agent, you're either going to be upset or you're going to understand. Right. And I'm having to explain to all my sellers now, I'm going to leave this form, this line in this form blank, because I don't know what Susie Sue is going to ask for, and whatever she asks for now becomes a part of the contract in our negotiations. So it doesn't matter if you wanted to pay A, B, C, or D. She's going to ask for Y, and we're going to have to make that part of our negotiations. So now with my sellers, I'm leaving that blank. I'm just telling them, hey, there's going to be probably a range from S to Z. And so you know now, Mr. Seller, that Susie Sue is going to ask, or whoever is going to ask for a range from S to Z. And we're going to negotiate that at the time, and I'm going to let you know what your net proceeds are going to be on that, each individual offer, what's going to go into your pocket, and we're going to negotiate that at that time.
Absolutely. And
that's been the biggest change.
And another change as well is as a buyer's agent pre-NAR settlement, buyer's agents will have the ability to see what compensation the sellers were offering to a buyer's agent on the MLS.
That was in the MLS. That was another change I didn't say, but that's another big change that happened in mid-August was buyer compensation advertised in the MLS completely. That field disappeared. They deleted it.
Yeah.
I can't even go back in and see old listings from 2-3 years ago and what they were offering because that data got deleted.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it's just,
So,
yeah, buyers agents. I can't stress this enough, and it's not because you're sitting here. It's you're buying a house is the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life, and I'll tell you, I look at it like this: if I was, say, I was going into a court case, and it has big stakes, right? Am I going to represent myself, or am I going to hire a lawyer?
or you're going to hire the other person's lawyer.
Am I going to hire the other person's lawyer?
You got three options.
You know, I'm going to hire an attorney because there's so many different things.
Yeah.
You know, so many different laws, so many different requirements, so many different avenues. If I'm going to make the biggest purchase of my life, am I going to hire the seller's agent? Am I going to try to go in and negotiate just on my own behalf? Or am I going to have somebody in my corner supporting me?
Yeah.
I would rather have a professional in my corner supporting me.
Yep.
So.
All right, that's a wrap on today's episode. We were going to get into 2025 market predictions. However, this video is already ran 25 minutes long, so that's why I'm coming at you from my home studio right now, where I'm editing this video currently. So I'm going to call it there because I don't want this to be a 50-minute video. Instead, I'm going to split it into two different parts. Next video will be our 2025 predictions. Again, shout out to Travis Smart at Guild Mortgage. Thank you so much, Travis, for hopping on and doing this recap with me. So if y'all have any questions at all for me or for Travis, drop comments down below here on YouTube. Let us know. We'll get back to you. Also, I'll drop our contact information in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a rad day.